I even posted my stock portfolio. Crazy month, up 114,000. AI is going to take your job. I'm just going to be blunt about it, right? No sugarcoating it. And I'm about to show you what Google just dropped this week that, added to my fear of like AI is just moving way too fast for our own good. I'm going to say this, right? I know it sounds scary. AI is going to take your job, but I'm going to show you what companies are just like give you the mental model of how to think and investing so you can hedge against you losing your job or a lot of people losing their job. Because when a human loses their job, their salary becomes revenue for whatever replaced it, right? Whether it's Tesla replacing truck drivers, Uber drivers, etc., right? The money they were making is going to get transferred to Tesla. And when Tesla's revenue goes up, its stock price is going to follow. And it only makes sense that you also own the stock, so your net worth also follows, right? That's what I told people like over a year ago. For like, if you're an Uber driver, hedge against you losing your job in the near future by owning Tesla shares. Put money in there every week. Sounds crazy. That's what it is. All right, let me show you. So this is, you know how ChatGPT, you can create images, right? We've seen a lot of those. But there's video models from not even 2 years ago, basically 24 months ago, right? And the prompt is obviously Will Smith eating spaghetti. This was less than 24 months ago. Now, this week was crazy because we thought OpenAI's Sora video model was good, but Gemini or Google just dropped something crazy. Check it out. So this is a 24-month difference. It's scary how fast we're progressing. That has been my biggest fear. I used to be on the camp that AI is not going to take our jobs because we're just going to keep creating new jobs at an equal pace. But now that AI is progressing, outpacing that like creation of new jobs, that's when things get scary. But that's why we love the market, because we can just ride the coattails of the smart people that are building these apps, all these AI models, and that's how we hedge against the robots, right? AI. This is the digital, right? Whether it's ChatGPT, video models, image models, replacing graphic designers. We've seen right now we're in like the digital phase of like being awestruck by AI videos or images and how realistic they look. But next up, and it's coming very, very soon, is the physical phase, humanoid robots. In case you haven't seen Tesla's Optimus robot, doing a little dance here that was posted like a week or two ago. Here it is. Now you might think this is not anything crazy, but again, 24 months ago, this robot could barely walk. It could walk like an 85-year-old man. And now this, again, 24, 28 months. Now imagine another 24 months goes by. What the hell is this thing going to be able to do? And aside from dancing, this is the real unlock. So this is a clip of the same robot, same Optimus robot, learning how to do like mundane tasks, right? And these are like household chores. And everybody's first initial reaction to new things like this is, yeah, but look how slow the robot's doing it, or he's not doing it right. It's learning, right? It's learning. So this is going to be even scarier because now we're going to be able to see it physically, right? In real life. Digital is okay. We kind of associate all this stuff with like just things on the internet, even though they're much more powerful than that. But yeah, it's realer than that. Okay, so going back to Gemini and why I was like super impressed and just stunned this week when Google dropped their VO3 model. So let me give you some examples.
Reply with what you want to see.
This person created a thread and said, give me your prompts. I'm going to paste them into the VO3 model and I'll share the video with you guys, right? So I was reading through this and it was kind of insane. So this one, realistic, rain slick, narrow, cyberpunk, alleyway, Japanese Korean casting vibrations, a lone weary detective, mid-30s, scruffy beard. I'm not going to read all that. Basically says or speaks the signal, right? And he gives a bunch of descriptive, like how the scene should look. And this was the final product.
The signal.
Okay, so that's cool. I mean, that was a lengthy description and it seemed to, be pretty spot on with that. Let's look at some more because I was on this thread for a good minute. Okay, this one, a worker getting to a station to commence his work at the Great Pyramid in Giza. He's passing plenty of other people who perform different works in the background. The pyramid is halfway finished. And this is the final product. Here's the audio. This straight up looks like a movie, right? The only like kind of gotcha there is he doesn't have like a hammer or whatever, and then he just randomly gets one out of nowhere. Again, think 24 months from now, you're not going to be, even 12 months from now, you're not going to be able to know what's real or what's not. This one wasn't that great. This one was actually cool. A mage walking up a hill holding a staff. And what he wanted him to do is he cast a spell as soon as he gets to the top of the hill, holds up his staff, lightning strikes the staff, and he is teleported into the sky in a flash, right? And then a bunch of other descriptors. So let's see how well it did that. I think that this part is impressive because when lightning strikes, the model has to know it's going to leave like a pile of burnt grass and ash and have it smoking. It's for 8 seconds. It's kind of crazy. This is all text, right? Descriptive text. Let's see what else I remember. This one was cool. So they had the scene opens with this one was very descriptive, but it's basically saying what got me here is as the camera subtly zooms in, we witness time accelerating around the canvas, right? So again, they described a woman, pockets casually filled, legs crossed, red dress, but the time accelerates around the canvas as the camera zooms is what got me. Check it out. Yeah, it's super impressive. Super impressive. There's countless of these, right? So, okay, last one we'll do. A startup CEO explaining how he gets to inbox zero fast with his new app he just discovered.
What this app does is help me get to inbox zero in less than 5 minutes.
Now, I don't care what you say. You can't tell the difference between this and real life. You can't. There's nothing. Maybe
the app does
fingers,
is
if I like
help me
pause at certain frames,
get to inbox
but even the fingers
zero
look good now. The phone, whatever it's displaying, it's not moving, it's not changing. It looks like he has an app
5
open.
minutes.
And he has all his fingers. He has 5 fingers. It's, man, what are we talking about? What are we talking about? Now, this is scary, right? But with scary comes excitement. And we're in the markets, right? So we like a little excitement, we like a little fear. So I'm going to tell you how you should think about this, right? And this is one of our lists from, we were just talking about all of this today, by the way, in the Discord, in the general chat, and talking about AI. Someone came to the realization, which is what I kind of was telling everybody all along since I made my data center video, which go back and watch it because it's even more relevant now. But they were saying, man, with all these prompts, whether we're generating videos, images, asking ChatGPT how long to cook a chicken for, right? If you go back to like the origin of where your prompt after you hit enter goes, whatever you're making, goes to a data center. And in that data center is a bunch of companies that you can invest in that make products that help this AI do whatever, all these tasks that we want it to do. The obvious one is the GPUs, right? The GPUs that NVIDIA makes. That's why NVIDIA is on such a crazy run, because every query needs this intensive GPU, which eats a lot of power, a lot of electricity, which eats a lot of water as well to cool the entire GPU because they literally melt from all the queries. So you have cooling companies, you have energy companies, you have chip manufacturers, you have everything. Basically, 90% of the companies that are relevant are in this list. You know, I used to think NVIDIA would top and, you know, it's kind of reached its peak. But the more I think about it, the amount of Elon just announced at XAI, they're gonna require 1 million NVIDIA GPUs at the new cluster. Like there's not only a shortage, there's incredible demand, and the demand is just getting started. Like the application layer is just getting interesting. Even though I know you guys are like, yeah, but I've known about ChatGPT for like a year now. Trust me, it's just getting started. So NVIDIA is the obvious play. A play that's similar to NVIDIA as far as, you know, you could probably say it's a sure bet is TSM, right? You probably saw it in the thumbnail, Taiwan Semiconductor. And Taiwan Semi is basically the backbone of all the hardware in all these data centers for AI, all of it. NVIDIA without TSM would be screwed. Whoever's making chips, whether it's other companies outside of NVIDIA, right? They need a foundry that actually produces the chips. NVIDIA doesn't make the chips, by the way. They design the chips. And then they have Taiwan Semi actually build them. And that's a really hard process. I won't get into why. So Taiwan Semi has this crazy moat of the entire tech world is relying on them, not just AI chips, right? Apple relies on them to make chips for their phones, their MacBooks, the M1 chips. Everybody basically relies on TSM. So I think TSM is as good, if not maybe better, a play. Also, I like Micron because in all the NVIDIA chips, this is, I also have a video on Micron and the HBM boom, right? Again, my videos are aging well, so you got to be watching. Micron, along with Samsung, another company, they make these HBM memory chips. And HBM is like the hottest commodity out right now in AI hardware. In fact, check this out. So in an NVIDIA GPU, in a single GPU, the highest cost for NVIDIA, right? There's a bunch of parts in there, right? It's not just one like board or anything. It's a bunch of, it's memory, it's all these parts. The highest cost for NVIDIA to make a GPU is the HBM memory chip. And that is like the biggest bottleneck, right? So go watch my HBM video, but Micron sold HBM chips sold out for like the next year. They're still sold out. NVIDIA can't get enough of them. Nobody really can, right? So HBM chips, keep upgrading, keep progressing, because they kind of, the way I described it in that video, I think was HBM is like a really wide highway that allows data to flow faster so that the actual GPU can be more efficient and have data like flow in and out like in bigger loads. So if you want, look into it, HBM, high bandwidth memory. And Micron is my favorite right now, just because I think they are undervalued. I've been saying that they're undervalued. I mean, the PE ratio is like 19 when it's forward, 23 the last 12 months. And if you look at, let me pull it up here. If we go to Micron's analyst estimates and look at the upcoming revenue for like the next couple years, right here. Okay, so we're in 2025, fiscal 2025, right? So in 2024, Micron's total revenue was about 25 billion. This year, expected 35 billion. The next year, 26, 44 billion. Now, this is not like, for a company that's, what is it, 100 billion market cap? This is not normal. It's because they're at the right place, right time, just like in how NVIDIA was, but for HBM chips, right? HBM chips are not, or were not their core business. They just make a bunch of, they specialize in memory chips, but not HBM specific, right? So now high bandwidth memory is taken off and NVIDIA can't get enough. AI hardware makers can't get enough. There literally isn't enough. HBM providers are sold out, and they've been sold out for HBM chips. So, I mean, look at this revenue increase just in the next 2 years alone, right? You can imagine by 2030, it's probably going to be like 80 billion if it keeps growing like it has. And, they keep raising the projections for how big the HBM market is. Every company, I've dug into their earnings, right, has HBM, the category, being the fastest grower year over year in market size for the next 5 years by like 2030. Everyone, I haven't seen another category that's faster. So Micron, TSM, there's a bunch of plays that we have in 444 regarding like, because we're like AI data center obsessed. At least I am. And I spread that excitement to the members, but I'm just super bullish on data centers. And just kind of go back to what I was saying in the beginning is our world is changing fast. I can't keep up with everything that's coming out on the app layer as far as not just different models, but different applications that are like niche and specific. I'm not going to go into Tesla because I have videos on Tesla and you guys probably know how bullish I am on that. Take the robots, right? Take the humanoid robots. They also will require a lot of AI training. They probably require the same chips, right? Or similar chips, not big GPUs, but similar chips. Taiwan Semiconductor is probably going to make those chips as well. So we're talking like a new era of not only digital AI, but physical. So you got to break it down to the lower layer and see who are the kings of infrastructure that everybody depends on, or that are just really far ahead as compared to the competitors. And that is how you get ahead. Now, I mean, I think it's normal to freak out right now. I tweeted this today. Like, is anybody else having an existential anxiety / crisis from seeing how fast AI is progressing? And, I think Janae said it best, literally having a meltdown while trying to profit from it. You hit the nail on the head with that one. That's kind of what we talked about today in 444. And that's what we're doing, right? It's okay to like freak out and be scared that AI is going to take your job in whatever profession you are, but you can make money from it, right? As capitalistic as that sounds, you need to hedge, right? You got to look out for yourself. So my advice, if you watch this till the end, is hedge hedge your livelihood, hedge your career, hedge your job, and not only that, right? Even if your job is secure and you probably won't be out of a job for the next decade, why not ride the coattails of this new era that we're kind of stepping into? Like, why not? There's so many smart people working tirelessly day in and day out, and you can just tap your phone or just click a button and boom, now you own the stock. So if you want the full list of all the different categories we also have a robotics category in the list. Come join us at 444 Capital. I haven't posted my stock portfolio. Crazy month, up 114,000. Yeah, we get it done in there, right? Moral of today's video is the world is changing faster than I personally thought. I kind of changed my stance, and now I'm much more closer to the worried side of the spectrum of, is AI going to replace jobs way quicker than we can create them? And I think we're close to having that happening. And the next 2 years are a coin toss, a coin flip. It's a wild card, but in any scenario, my advice is bet on the companies that are going to take jobs. As capitalistic again as that sounds, it's something you have to do. And paying attention to the stock market, I don't care if you're not interested or if you don't feel like it, it's not your thing. You need to be interested because that is your hedge. Right? That is your hedge. I saw somebody tweet today, make $5 million as quick as possible because it's about to get so hard to make money when AI, really ramps up. I don't know if that's the case because all these cool tools, somebody in the Discord, when we talked about Google's video model, said Hollywood is cooked. And then my response was, but now a lot more people get to cook, right? So it's like, imagine before Photoshop, you had to be like a high-end graphic designer with like the latest software. But then Photoshop goes out, anybody can learn it, and anybody can become really, really good. So the same thing with like the AI app layer. If anybody has Hollywood type of tools with just like their keyboard, then just creative people are going to make really cool movies, TV shows, will be able to. And, so there's like a silver lining to that as well, not that everything is cooked, but a lot more people will be able to cook as well. But you really got to be on top of it to like know the latest and greatest AI tools, the learning curves, and jump over those. The easiest thing to do, guys, is just invest in the infrastructure layer. Everything boils down and goes back to a data center. So that's my advice. See you guys in the next video. Things are getting weird. Peace.